So today I am going to do another video about my Seiko 6007. I went back and I rewatched the first video I did of this one and my other Seiko, and I realized that when I do two watches at once, it kind of gets difficult because I get the information mixed up in my brain. So from now on, I'm just going to be doing the one watches and one a day. So this one, I'm coming and I'm going to do another video on it so that I can just get more information about this one. So this one was made, like I said, basically I'm going to say the same stuff, but a little more. So this one has been, it has been serviced once in 1974. It was made in 1971, January of 1971, and it's a kind of neat story behind this, because this was my dad's who gave it to me, and he gave it to me, and it was my grandfather's, which was kind of neat. It was, I really like it, last page, but I don't know if you can see that. The indicator ring is faded, but not pure ash white. It is more of about a quarter of it. It's kind of faded a bit, but the rest of it is pretty good. And now it's information time. Okay, so now it's information time. So I guess that, don't quote me on it, but the information that I have is that the earliest that they have been recorded was November of 1970, and that the latest was sometime in January 1971, and that they were intended for the Latin American market back in the 70s. And they have English, Spanish day wheels, and if my information is correct, that they didn't come out in the gold dial, they only came out in the blue dial, and they only came in the resist text. No proof and no text. And that most of them, or some of the movements are the 6139A movements with the one-piece chronograph hand, and some have the B movement, which is kind of interesting. And also a thing about them is none of them have notched cases, unlike the 6009 version. And they all have the markings on the dial 6009T, which means that there is 17 jewels below the center of the watch. And that the text is kind of interesting. It says Seiko automatic, but it's kind of interesting because unlike some of the earlier ones that said Seiko chronograph automatic, these ones do not say chronograph, they just say Seiko automatic. And they have most of them, I would think, like mine doesn't have the original bracelet to it. It has an aftermarket. which I got, and what I've been doing some research online, and I guess that they're a bit more uncommon than the other Seiko 6139s, like the 6002, the 6005, and the 6009 are pretty common, and the ones that are one of the most rare ones are the Seiko 6139 silver dials, which are really hard to get, and it's very interesting about the information of where they came from. And real quick before I forget, I'm going to show you a bit of the movement. Okay, so we're going to start off with the case back, and here it is. It's kind of hard to see since it's so shiny. It says stainless steel back, of course, and it says water resistant, and what I gather is the earlier ones have the horseshoe kind of shape. It's I think they call it the horseshoe, where it's the kind of a circle, and then the bit later ones are just the half text, which covers half the case back. And so just a little info on it. And so this is the movement. It's kind of neat. Everything is in functioning order. I have done a bit of work, oh come on, to this, and it's come out successfully. I've taken the rotor off, and I've cleaned that, and taken the buttons out. There, not the buttons, but the pushers. And I need to get a few things for this, but like the case back seal, I just need to find them. And as you can see, come on, it's got the movement ring in there, and you can see the balance wheel, and it says Danny Seikosha on the rotor, and it's much shinier in real life than on the screen. There we are. It says on the movement, it says stainless, or not stainless, but it's 17 joules, and it is, the movement number is 6139A, which, like I said, that is the previous one to the B, and it says Seiko. And the thing that gets me is most of these, I don't know if you can see it, it's really hard to see, but the mainspring arbor port, normally they are worn really loose, and they need to be jeweled for that. Well, this one's kind of interesting because it is not loose at all, and it's all original, like I said, except the band. But the indicator ring, okay, there you go. You can see it's a bit faded, but that really doesn't bother me at all. And let me see. You can see that the indicator ring works as it should, and for me, I think the thing I like about it is the Pepsi bezel and the blue dial. Honestly, I kind of like the blue dial better than the yellow dial. it's got kind of an iconic look. I mean, yes, the 6139 Pogue, the yellow Pogue, I don't care for. I've never liked yellow on watches. Red is okay, but just not really yellow. Mostly I like these because of the story behind them, like Pogue's watch that went into space. Just, it's neat to hold a piece of history, even though it's not his watch. It's a watch that every watch, just a little sidebar, has its own story. I think that's why I like it, because who knows, it could have been in World War II, it could have been in Vietnam. It's so neat to have a story. It could have been a wealthy businessman. That's why I like them. And maybe, let me rephrase. I've been really wanting to do a restoration video. I've restored a couple of watches, but I don't have the camera equipment or whatever it's called to do it, because I'm doing it on my laptop, and it's just kind of difficult, I would say, but I am going to continue doing these. I guess it's not evaluations, but it's just showing you these, and I will see you next video, and I just enjoy doing these, and that's just about it. So I'll see you next video, which will be tomorrow at some point, and that's it. See you tomorrow.